The rain came down in sheets, the kind that blurred headlights and erased footsteps. And in the middle of that storm, a man named Aidan Reed, a tired single father trying his best to hold life together, saw a silhouette stumbling near the edge of the road. A frail old man, soaked, shaking, and barely steady. Aidan could have kept driving. He had work in the morning, bills waiting at home, and his 8-year-old daughter Maya asleep in the back seat. But something inside him refused to let him pass. He pulled over. And that single act of kindness would change not only his life, but the life of a woman he had yet to meet. Someone who, by the next day, would owe her career to a stranger she never expected. A little more to the right. Careful. There you go, Aidan murmured as he supported the old man toward the shelter of his car. The man, who introduced himself as Mr. Rowan, could barely speak through the cold, but he managed one sentence. You didn't have to stop. Aidan gave a tired smile. Sir, sometimes we have to do things we're not required to. Otherwise we forget we're human. He drove Rowan home, helped him inside, and even boiled water for tea. Maya carried a blanket to the old man with the innocent gentleness only children possess. Before Aidan left, Rowan grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. People forget that compassion is rare, he whispered, but I won't forget you. Aidan didn't think much of it. He simply smiled, wished the man well, and drove home, never imagining this act would echo into the next day like a miracle circling back. Morning arrived with the same heaviness Aidan felt most days. Being a single dad meant running a marathon with no finish line, packing lunches, rushing to school, chasing morning traffic, and squeezing in extra shifts to keep the lights on. Today was especially stressful. His company had announced performance evaluations, which was just a polished way of saying layoffs. He couldn't afford to lose his job. Maya depended on him. As he hurried into the office, damp from the previous night's rain, his coworker whispered, Careful, the regional manager is visiting today. People say she's strict. Aidan sighed. One more pressure on a pile already too high. Upstairs, in a glass-walled office overlooking the building floor, Elena Hayes, the regional manager, was facing a crisis of her own. She was under fire from executives for the division's declining numbers. If she didn't show strong leadership, especially by proving she could identify weak employees, she risked losing her position. She carried the weight of trying to support her younger siblings and an ill mother. Failure wasn't an option. Her assistant warned her, there's a lot of tension today. Staff are nervous. Elena only nodded. She had no space for emotion. She had to be firm, decisive, even if she hated how cold that made her seem. She didn't know yet that the man about to stand before her, the very man whose file sat flagged for underperformance, was the same father who had walked into a storm the night before to rescue her father. By noon, Aidan was called into a small meeting room. His heart thudded painfully. Elena stood by the window, arms crossed, papers in hand. Aidan Reed, she began without looking up. Your recent metrics show A sudden knock interrupted her. Her assistant leaned in. Miss Hayes, your father is on the line. He says it's urgent. Elena froze. She rarely received calls from her father. His health had been fragile since her mother passed. With a stiff apology, she hurried out, leaving Aidan alone with dread. Minutes stretched like hours until she returned, eyes wide, expression shaken. Mr. Reed, she whispered, sinking into a chair. He waited silently. My father told me someone helped him last night. In the rain, Aidan blinked. He said a man and his daughter brought him home, protected him like family. He said the man's name was Aidan. A silence blossomed in the room, thick with shock. Elena set the papers aside. Please, tell me it was you. Aidan rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed. I just did what anyone should do. But she shook her head. No, not anyone. Many would have passed him by. She exhaled, and when she lifted her eyes again, they weren't the eyes of a cold manager. They were the eyes of a daughter grateful beyond words. Elena closed the folder that had been prepared to dismiss him. You were on the evaluation list, she admitted softly. Numbers were low, and corporate wanted reductions. Aiden swallowed hard. But after what you did, I can't, in good conscience, punish someone who carries that kind of heart. She set the folder aside and slid a different set of papers toward him. This is a development track. It's a chance to grow, not a warning. I'm offering it to you instead. Aiden felt his breath catch, a lifeline, on a day he expected disaster. Why? He whispered. Elena smiled gently. Because last night you saved something more precious than any performance report. You reminded me what leadership is supposed to be. Human. Over the next hour, something unexpected happened. Elena opened up for the first time in a long while, confessing how overwhelmed she'd been, how the pressure of protecting her family was suffocating her. Aiden told her about raising Maya alone after his wife walked away, about juggling work and parenting and exhaustion. Two people who thought they were walking their struggles alone suddenly realized they weren't. They weren't strangers anymore. When Aiden left the meeting, he found Maya waiting in the lobby, since it was her school's half-day. Elena crouched beside the little girl with sincere warmth, thanking her for helping her father rescue Rowan. Before they left, Mr. Rowan himself arrived, leaning on a cane, insisting he needed to see the man who saved him. You gave me back hope, he told Aiden. Then he turned to his daughter. And you reminded me that compassion still exists in this world. Help him, Elena. Good people deserve good things. Elena nodded, tears gathering. Right then, surrounded by gratitude and the fading tension of fear, Aiden realized something profound. Compassion circles back, always. Over the following weeks, Elena became not only a supportive manager, but a trusted friend. She guided Aiden at work, and sometimes, after meetings, she joined Aiden and Maya for coffee. Rowan adored the little girl and insisted on telling her stories from his youth, making her giggle endlessly. Slowly, healing began, for all of them. Elena softened, finding strength not in fear, but in empathy. Aiden thrived, his work improving with genuine support. Maya gained another caring adult in her world. They weren't a family, not yet, but they were something just as rare. A connection built not on convenience, but on kindness, given freely in the rain. Months later, as Aiden tucked Maya into bed, she asked, "Daddy, do you think helping one person really changes anything?" Kissed her forehead, smiling. Yes, sweetheart, it changed everything for us. And it had. Because when Aiden stepped out of his car that stormy night, he didn't just help an old man walk home. He stepped into a chain of events, one that saved a stranger's job, softened a hardened heart, and reminded them all that compassion is never wasted. It always finds its way back, even when we least expect it.